The growing tension between Washington and Caracas has once again taken a dramatic turn, with Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro openly highlighting his ties with China. At a recent education-related event in Caracas, he praised Beijing and presented a symbolic gesture that made global headlines. His move comes at a time when relations with the United States, under President Donald Trump, remain deeply hostile. During the closing ceremony of the First Pedagogical Congress of Bolivarian Teachers, Maduro unexpectedly shifted his speech from education to geopolitics. In front of teachers and officials, he displayed a new Huawei smartphone, which he claimed was personally gifted to him by Chinese President Xi Jinping. According to Maduro, he even uses the device to communicate with Xi via satellite. The Venezuelan leader added humor to the moment by simulating a conversation in Mandarin, saying "Nai Hao" and "Xie Xie," while stressing that China's technology, particularly Huawei, was among the most advanced in the world. His theatrical remarks were not just about technology. They were intended to underline China's growing role as a lifeline for Venezuela at a time when Washington has tightened sanctions. Though it may have seemed like a light-hearted moment, international analysts argue that the act carried a deeper message. According to a report from BBC News, Caracas has consistently looked toward Beijing for political and economic backing, particularly since the U.S. imposed heavy restrictions on Venezuelan oil exports in 2019. For Maduro, highlighting ties with China in public forums is a subtle reminder to Washington that Caracas is not isolated. The Chinese connection is not new. In recent years, Beijing has provided Venezuela with loans, infrastructure projects, and technical support, often in exchange for oil. Reuters previously reported that Venezuela owes China billions of dollars. Yet the two countries continue to expand cooperation despite the financial hurdles. This dynamic underscores how important China has become for Maduro's survival in power. Maduro's remarks also came just days after he hosted China's ambassador to Venezuela, Wan Hu. Their meeting was presented as a celebration of closer ties, particularly in science, technology, and artificial intelligence. On social media, Maduro expressed his satisfaction with what he called the fruitful progress of 2025 in deepening cooperation with what he described as Venezuela's sister nation. Such overt gestures to China send clear signals beyond Venezuela's borders. By drawing Beijing closer, Maduro not only strengthens his diplomatic standing, but also challenges Washington's efforts to isolate his government. According to the New York Times, China sees Latin America as a region of strategic interest, and Venezuela, with its vast oil reserves, remains an important partner despite its economic crisis. Meanwhile, the United States continues to regard Maduro's leadership as illegitimate. Trump's administration, which has recognized opposition leader Juan Guaido as Venezuela's rightful president, has repeatedly increased sanctions to pressure Maduro out of office. Yet, Maduro's publicized relationship with Xi Jinping suggests he is finding ways to counterbalance Washington's pressure by turning to alternative powers. The symbolism of the Huawei phone should not be underestimated. Huawei itself has been at the center of U.S.-China tensions, as Washington accuses the company of posing national security risks. By praising Huawei in such a public setting, Maduro may have been deliberately sending a political message that Venezuela will stand alongside China, even in areas where the U.S. has drawn sharp battle lines. Observers also note that Maduro's strategy mirrors broader global shifts. As U.S. influence in some regions faces challenges, China has steadily expanded its presence through investments, technology transfers, and diplomatic support. Venezuela's reliance on China reflects how smaller nations under sanctions or pressure from the U.S. are seeking alternatives in Beijing's expanding global reach. For Venezuelans, however, the question remains whether this growing alliance will ease their country's deep economic hardships. Inflation, food shortages, and a collapsing healthcare system still weigh heavily on daily life. While Maduro emphasizes cooperation in technology and artificial intelligence, critics argue that what the people need most are concrete measures to revive the economy and provide stability.